We're back. You are chatting with John Pete. Today we are going to be talking about watches that we both have seen around Miami and South Florida. If you're not familiar, this is Federico from Federico Talks Watches YouTube channel, link in the description below. Together we have DelReyWatch.com where we buy, sell, trade pre-owned watches, and actually that's where we're shooting this from right now. How are you doing?
I can't complain, man. Just another Thursday.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
What are you wearing today, bro?
Today, actually, I'm wearing the Oyster Perpetual that he bought for me. I bought one for him to kind of commemorate 3 years in business. Grape Dial. What are you wearing?
Well, I was wearing the OP yesterday, but today I'm back to the Girard Perregaux Laureato Evo 3 Moon Phase. That's a very long name. Love this watch. Love it to death.
You probably wear that the most out of all your watches.
But not so much recently. I've been on a little bit of a Moser trip. Well, and the OP, obviously. I've been wearing the OP and the Moser recently.
I think you're just trying to impress the South Florida ladies.
Oh, yeah, because they all know what H. Moser is.
Well, I think some of them.
Okay.
The ones you talk to.
Okay. If you're a single South Florida lady and you know watches, hit me up. What is there, like 2 of those in the whole state?
And you found them.
Yeah, I wish.
Anyway, so let's talk about it. I figured we would just kind of talk about some of the places that we go, because you see just so many watches, and there's a lot of watch guys as well. I mean, it's frequently where, we don't have like the biggest channels, we're not popular people by any regards.
No, not at all.
Especially me, and people frequently come up and they're like, "Oh, hey, we see you on the internet," because it's such a city for watch guys.
Yeah, Miami's like absolutely a watch mecca. I mean, I'd be willing to say like New York has more watch guys in it, but I think proportionately compared to the population, Miami is definitely like a capital for watch lovers, and we can see that just by looking at people's wrists.
Well, what's a watch that you saw on someone's wrist recently?
Listen, I went to dinner at a waterfront restaurant
fancy
called Amara the other day, and it's right next to my house. And actually, I saw a Richard Mille, and it's a real Richard Mille as well.
How are you sure?
The guy was close enough. It was like a fire pit, and we were sitting. He was on like another couch, and I got a good look at the watch, and he was wearing a Bubba. It's absolutely beautiful. I mean, the Richard Mille's not my favorite, but it's not every day I get to see a Bubba in the wild. So
a Bubba in the wild.
Bubba Watson.
I know. Actually, and this is disputed, but I am positive that we saw. And I saw in the design district Jeff Bezos
wasn't Jeff Bezos
of Amazon with his new girlfriend, who happens to be, I think on Telemundo or one of those other channels, which is based in Miami, and he recently bought like a $50 million house here. I saw him wearing a Hulk, and we sat and had lunch next to him. You think it wasn't him? I know that it was him.
He was wearing a Hulk, and it's very possible that his beautiful companion was working for Telemundo, but that was not Jeff Bezos.
It's a little bit too much of a coincidence, don't you think?
I mean, it wasn't Jeff Bezos.
I think it was, because the chef was coming out. Everyone wanted to talk to the guy. People were talking to his wife. Like, either it was Jeff Bezos or it was someone that looked a lot like him, and everyone was convinced.
Fair enough. All right.
It was Jeff Bezos.
I mean, listen, you see a lot of Rolex here, but also what I like that you see here, I mean, this is not for everybody, but what I like that you see here that you don't see in New York, for example, is just a lot of flashy gold watches. Gold UNs, gold AP Royal Oaks, gold Richard Milles. And yeah, I get it. Not for everybody, but it's so cool to just see those in the wild. And people kind of, I mean, this is a city of flair, so people wear that stuff.
It's confusing for some, right? And I think if you're not familiar with the city, or if you haven't been here, it's a city to kind of check out, especially if you're a watch guy, but not necessarily for watches. But if you are here for another reason, like the beach or entertainment or nightlife, you just see so many watches. And I think it's shocking to many people, because you go to like cities that are a little bit more conservative and, having money doesn't necessarily translate to having a watch, and you see so many people wearing these crazy watches here that are not even watch guys. It's like the Rolex is almost like a standard.
I'll tell you this, New York City, Rolex Submariners, I saw 50, 60 of them a day, walking down Fifth Avenue. Here, I think I see more gold Royal Oak offshores than I do standard subs. I think like 14-year-old children and like wear the sub, and like the father's wearing like the gold Royal Oak. I'm not saying that's the right way to do it. I love my sub, But it's just, yeah, it's not like a uniform
It's
here.
atypical.
Yeah,
It's obscure, and the same carries over for cars as well here. You know, it's just
sure.
such a weird phenomenon. What else have we seen? We've seen some
Lately-
weird things.
Lately. I've seen. It's just so hard to remember. I mean, listen, we went to dinner with our friend Mike the other day,
Oh yeah.
and he was wearing a Ulysse Nardin executive dual time. I mean, like,
And he didn't even know what it was.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, my dad gave it to me. and then I asked, like, what does his dad wear? He's like, oh, he wears a gold Ulysse Nardin executive dual time.
Oh wow.
God. It's just, yeah, it's a city. I mean, what have you seen? You go out quite a bit as well.
I mean, I try not to look. Sometimes you catch it though. You know, you catch it sometimes. You don't
mean
even try. There's
You
that
don't
many
pull out
watches
like
in
the
a while.
iPhone and do like the candid wrist shot, you know?
What else? I mean, I thought it was actually completely obscure that the security guy in my building was wearing a ceramic bezel Omega Seamaster.
Really?
Yeah.
That's actually super cool as well.
I thought it was obscure. I mean, it's a gray watch, but I just didn't expect it.
That is one watch I don't see a lot in this city, and you'd think like with the aquatic nature of Miami that you would. But yeah, no, I thought that. I mean, that's definitely interesting. I mean, also another thing, there's a lot of fake watches in Miami. I'm not saying the security guy had a fake watch, but it's also true that I do see.
Here's
quite a
one
few
that
fake
absolutely
watches.
was real, and this actually blows my mind. Took my car for service a while ago, and the actual there was like this really weird issue with the car. Not a big issue, but a weird issue. So the advisor brought in the mechanic. He's like, I'll let the mechanic come and explain this to you, because he had some kind of like award for being like mechanic, some kind of nonsense.
Important.
Yeah,
Like,
and
important mechanic guy.
He's like, oh, he won this award in like Europe for this thing. I'm like, okay, whatever. Let him explain it to me. The guy was wearing a Kermit.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and I mean, it just, I mean, I
It's a
felt
$14,000 watch.
even more because it was the flat 4. It was like a very expensive watch, and I'm wondering, like, these guys must be ripping me off. These guys have to be ripping me off. I felt pretty horrible because I knew what it was, and I asked him, like, hey, that's a very nice
but
watch.
don't. Yeah, I don't subscribe to that philosophy. There's a lot of conservative people that say you wear too nice of a watch, your customer thinks you're overcharging. It's Miami, brother. Like, I mean, everybody wears a watch. It just,
It's true.
Real or fake, that doesn't apply here, at least in my opinion.
We've seen other crazy stuff. You know, we see the off brands, the stuff that we carry at Delray Watch as well. We run into, I think we were at
Bubbles.
a
I've seen
restaurant,
a corn
LeCue.
Bubbles.
We saw like a Beauvais Tourbillon or something, like on like an oligarch looking guy. They were all drinking vodka and everything. He had a big Beauvais Tourbillon on his wrist,
Yeah,
which
that
was
was awesome.
Never saw one of those on a casual.
You know what I wish? You know what I haven't seen casually yet, and I'd like to? Some FP Journe. You'd think like Miami
never
even
see
has an FP Journe boutique. I have not seen an FP
Do
Journe.
any of you guys see Journes on the wrist? Are there any other watches that you're starting to see more on people's wrists, or do you not even look?
Listen, if I ever meet another person with a Moser randomly, like guys wearing a Moser, I'm buying him a drink. Like I'll send a drink to his table. Like you have a taste.
But are you going to have a conversation with him?
Probably. Who knows? But he's at the very least he's getting a bottle of champagne.
You guys heard it here first. If you buy a Moser and you're at the same place as Federico, he owes you a bottle of champagne. And what bottle is that going to be?
Yeah, it's a little, don't. No,
Something
no,
nice,
no,
right?
No, don't.
On par with
What is
Moser.
the least expensive champagne on the wine list? Would it probably Moet Chandon?
Well, at the places you go. Trying to pull out the checkbook.
I cook. I cook at home.
So now they have to be seen in your apartment with a Moser for this to
Okay,
happen.
now that's weird. If you're in my apartment with a Moser,
It probably is Moser, and you're attempting to rob him. You did mention where you live. It was close to that restaurant.
yeah, but they don't know exactly where I live.
The odds are increased. You have chance. You have time to pull this off.
I will call security.
They'll be wearing a Seamaster.
Oh God, that's your building.
Maybe they were wearing my Seamaster.
There you go.
Where is my Seamaster?
I don't know. Where is it? I haven't seen it in a very long time.
it's hard to keep track. Anyway, guys, just a short, lighthearted video here. We thought it would be interesting because, we genuinely do see a lot of watches and thought you might find it interesting if you're in a place where you just don't and you wonder about it. Please do not forget to thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Also, check out Federico Talks Watches, and DelReyWatch.com.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Ciao.
Take care.